My brothers and sisters, what is going on? Steel Sermon in the house. Late Tuesday night with another video for you guys. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what has been a long time waiting for Steeler Nation. The official 53-man roster was put out today. Well, earlier today, I should say. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Links are posted down below. And be sure to share this channel with all your friends. Help me build my channel back up, man. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 53-man roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers and my general thoughts of it. Overall, I can't complain, but I do have some things to say, so I'm just going to review it real quick. I'm going to go position by position, unlike traditional ones that I've done, so it may take a little bit of time. So, let's get this started with. This is the 53-man roster, my review for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And starting things off with the offense, obviously we all know who the three quarterbacks are going to be. It's Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, and Mason Rudolph. No questions about that. It's just a matter of who's going to start week one for the Steelers against the Bengals. I put out a video earlier today saying that I personally believe that it should be Mitch Trubisky, but I'd be for Kenny Pickett starting. It just makes more logical sense to put Mitch Trubisky in there. And as far as Mason Rudolph goes, like I said, that guy's as good as gone if he's just mop-up duty for the final 5 minutes against Detroit in the preseason. So, yeah, those are your quarterbacks right there. Running backs, you got Najee Harris, Benny Snell, Jalen Warren, and Derek Watt. Obviously, we know Najee Harris is going to get the majority of the touches this year. He's entering his second year. Phenomenal rookie year last year with 1,200 yards on the ground, considering the O-line we have. A great year for him. Benny Snell returns to the roster once again. I was never really a big fan of Benny Snell, but again, this is this is just a prove-it year for him. I feel like he has, I just feel like, his days are numbered here, and he has to officially solidify a spot here if we're going to keep him. Jalen Warren, he had a couple of standout moments in preseason, so I'm for keeping in the three running back set, which is, Matt Canada's type of offense. You get the West Coast offense type of thing going with a triple-headed attack. We just know that Najee is going to have the majority of the touches. And then as far as Derek Watt goes, put out a video about a week or so about him saying that we should cut him. He does well with special teams, so I guess that's why he's still there. But the fact is that if we cut him, that's going to save us, some cap space. And that cap space is precious for us, but at the same time, you don't really have to not have cap space in order for us to make moves. But personally, I'm ready to move on from Derek Watt. That's just my opinion. And I'm not a fan of, having two fullbacks on the team as well. So aside from us hardly using him and paying him $10 million a year, I just don't really see a need for him to be on this team. So that's the first little nitpick that I have with the roster. Wide receivers, you got Chase Claypool, Miles Boykin, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Calvin Austin, Steven Sims, and Gunnar Olszewski. Chase Claypool, obviously a really big year for him. He had a very disappointing sophomore year last year, but we all knew that he was going to make the 53, so that's kind of obvious right there. Miles Boykin, kind of surprised he made the 53, actually, considering that he was like a throwaway guy in Baltimore. But hey, he had a couple standouts in preseason, so I guess it was good enough for him to make the roster. I'm just a little surprised that he made the roster. George Pickens, I am so excited to see this guy play. I feel like he's earned a spot on the roster, like Steeler Nation and a lot of other NFL pundits are saying this guy's going to be a star, and I can't wait to see him play. George Pickens, I just can't wait to see this guy play. Deontay Johnson, again, obvious. Got that hefty extension a month ago, 2 months ago, however long ago it was. But yeah, you all figured Deontay Johnson is probably going to be our, I don't know about number one receiver, but let's just say he's the best receiver on the team. But I don't know if he's a true number one. But yeah, Deontay Johnson, regardless, is on the roster. Calvin Austin, again, another guy that I can't wait to see play. Speaking of Baltimore, we apparently snagged this guy from the Ravens. You know, when we drafted this guy, someone in the Ravens front office yelled something like, "You gotta be kidding me," you know? So we all know how well the Ravens are with drafting. So when they got frustrated when we took Calvin Austin, that has to be a good sign right there. So yeah, Calvin Austin, I can't wait to see this guy play too. Steven Sims, I don't really have a strong opinion of him. I didn't see a whole lot of him in preseason, so I guess I'll just go with the flow right there. And then Gunnar Olszewski, I think this guy's going to be I think this guy's predominantly going to be used for special teams, like with kick and punt returns. So that's what he was used over in New England for. So I was pretty pleased when we signed him in free agency. So yeah, I like Gunnar Olszewski. Overall, the wide receivers, it's a good mix. It's a real young mix of players over here that need to develop a little bit more with some rookies thrown in. But this is a good young receiving core that we have, and I feel like that they're going to develop really well. As far as tight ends go, we're going with a 3 tight end set this year with Zach Gentry, Connor Hayward, and of course Pat Freiermuth. Zach Gentry, he's been with the team for some time now. He's had so many chances to prove himself, and I feel like that, you know, this has to be his final chance with us. So Zach Gentry making the 53, you kind of figured that was going to happen. Connor Hayward, who we drafted as well. I mentioned about Derek Watt being a fullback. Well, Connor Hayward's a little bit different. He's a fullback tight end hybrid. Like I said, I'm not a really big fan of having 2 fullbacks on the team. But I feel like Connor Hayward's going to be used more as a tight end, and we're going to use Derek Watt for, well, hopefully we use Derek Watt for this. We use him for short yardage gains, and we keep using him for special teams. Maybe we use Connor Hayward for fullback purely. I don't know, but we'll see as time goes. And then, of course, we got Muth entering his second season. You figured he was going to be back on the roster. He had a great rookie year last year. And I can't wait to see what Pat's going to do in his second year, man. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch him play. And then, of course, you got the weakest part of this offense, without a doubt. It is the offensive line. He who shall not be named. Kendrick Green is coming back to play center. J.C. Hasenauer, Mason Cole, Dan Moore Jr., Kevin Dotson, Chooks, James Daniels, and we just got Jesse Davis today from Minnesota, I believe. I actually recorded a video about the Malik Reed and Jesse Davis acquisitions. This is after it though, and I got another video currently uploading. So yeah, my comments on Malik Reed and Jesse Davis are going to be a little bit after this video, about next week or so. So I'm going to let the acquisition sit for a little bit, but I have it recorded. But yeah, that's your offensive line this year for the Steelers. Obviously, Kendrick Green, in my opinion, he's the worst guy on this O-line. I want him off the team, but, you know, what can I do about it? That's just my opinion. J.C. Hasenauer, I would like to see him play a little bit more. Mason Cole still needs a little bit more time with us. This is his first full season with us. Dan Moore Jr. has been a major letdown so far. Chooks, less said the better. I mean, it's sad when this guy's considered to be the best guy on the O-line so far. But, yeah, he's still really awful. Then you got Kevin Dotson. Big letdown again so far. I mean, this is his 3rd season with us, and he hasn't really played up to his potential so far. James Daniels, I'm trying to give him more of a chance because, you know, kind of like Mason Cole, this is his first full season with us, so we'll see. And then Jesse Davis. I don't have an opinion of him yet. I have to see him play, so hopefully he gets playing time. So, yeah, that's your Steeler offense right there. As far as the defensive side of the ball goes, Let's take a look at it. Starting with the defensive line, you got Montravius Adams, Larry Ogunjobi, Isaiah Loudermilk, Tyson Alau, Chris Wormley, Cam Hayward, and DeMarvin Leal. So Montravius Adams, I would really like to see this guy play a little bit more. I think he has what it takes to be a really good player on this D-line. Larry Ogunjobi, I love this acquisition when we got him in the offseason. I think he's going to complement Tyson Alau very well with stopping the run. He's a great physical player, so you figured that he was going to make the 53. Great acquisition there, right there. Isaiah Loudermilk, again, kind of the same deal. Great, he's a good run stopper. He's a good physical player. I want to see him get a couple more reps as well. Tyson Alau, he's back and healthy. Hopefully he can maintain that. He's the biggest part of this rush defense right here. And I feel like if the rush defense is going to improve from last year, this guy has to play majority of the season and play majority of the reps. So Tyson Alau, you figure that he was going to play. Chris Wormley has really evolved into a good physical player as well, and I can't wait to see him play. I'm glad to see him back on the roster. Cam Hayward has really elevated his game up over the past few years. A good late bloomer for us. He's gotten in the sacks. He's starting to get to the quarterback. He's just really upped up his game, and I can't wait to see him play once again. And DeMarvin Leal, he had some good preseason moments, and with a rookie like that, that's always good to add some depth right there. So a very strong defensive line right there that's getting a little bit younger, and I feel like that this D-line is going to look much better than last year, man, assuming that everything stays in place and everything stays healthy. Linebackers, this is a bit of a tricky one because it's kind of hit and miss in my opinion. We got Robert Spillane, we got Derek Tezuka, Miles Jack, Devin Bush, Alex Highsmith, TJ, Mark Robinson, and the newest addition in Malik Reed. There are some really good players in this linebacking core, and then there are players that really need to step it up. So like I said, it's pretty hit and miss. Starting with Robert Spillane, I said it in my Mark Robinson video that's uploading currently. It should be out either after I'm done recording this, or Wednesday morning, whenever that is. But anyway, Robert Spillane, strictly a goal line linebacker. I don't like him in coverage, but I feel like with big goal line stands that he's going to be useful for us, but I do agree with him being on the roster. It's just depth, Derek Suzuka, I need to see more of him. Didn't really get to see a lot of him in preseason, so only time will tell. Miles Jack, you figured that this guy was going to be on the roster as well. Miles Jack, we got him in free agency. This guy is hyped up to be a great coverage linebacker, a good run stopper, and a good overall physical tackler. I really like Miles Jack. I can't wait to see him play. Paired up with number 55, Devin Bush. Devin Bush has all the potential in the world to be one of the best coverage linebackers and to be a great run-stopping linebacker and great physical play game changer altogether. But we all know what Devin Bush's problem is. He just doesn't play hard. And that is something that is really going to hinder this interior linebacking core if he continues to play not to get injured. Granted, Devin Bush actually had an okay game against Detroit, but one game doesn't suffice it. Devin Bush is now, his days are numbered, all right? This is the guy on the entire roster, in my opinion, that's facing the most heat this season. It's a prove-it year for him, and he really needs to prove his worthiness of being on this interior line because you can't use the ACL injury excuse anymore, okay? He's back and fully healthy and playing. I expect better from Devin Bush, plain and simple. Alex Highsmith, he's really evolved into a centerpiece for this linebacking core as well. I can't wait to see him play as well. TJ Watt, no explanation needed. He's the best player on the team. Reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Good for 15-plus sacks when he's fully healthy, man. Maybe he can get 20 more. I don't know. But yeah, TJ Watt doesn't need much of an explanation. Mark Robinson, the video that I'm currently uploading about him, I'm pretty much going to repeat myself with it when I say that Mark Robinson is pretty much playing like what Devin Bush is supposed to be. Speedy, physical, hard-hitting, and a great worker altogether. I really like Mark Robinson, and I would really like to see him start in this interior linebacking core because I really do think that his speed, with him being a converted running back to a linebacker, that's a great story in itself. And I really feel like that he can be a big game changer and big playmaker for us. I really like Mark Robinson. Let's see what he brings to the table. And then Malik Reed, we just got him today from the Denver Broncos. That's a great addition as well to complement TJ Watt on the edge right there with the outside linebacker. I really like Malik Reed. He's still young. He's still physical. And just putting him on the other side with TJ, that's going to be a good 1-2 punch right there. So overall, these linebackers are really good, but they definitely need to improve a little bit more, and they need to play hard too. Moving on to the secondary with corners, you got Cam Sutton, Ahkello Witherspoon, Levi Wallace, Arthur Millette, and James Pierre. Altogether, it's kind of like the linebackers a little bit, very hit and miss. Cam Sutton, I really like that he's improved his game a little bit. He has stepped up to the range, gotten a couple interceptions, deflected some passes away. So I really like Cam Sutton and his progress that he's making. You figure that he was going to make the roster. Ahkello Witherspoon, we signed him in the offseason. That was a big sign for us. I think he's our best corner in my opinion. So Ahkello Witherspoon, when he played last year, he really did make a difference and helped out this pass defense. So Ahkello Witherspoon, I expect another really good standout year for him. Levi Wallace, who we got from the Buffalo Bills this offseason, he was overshadowed by Tre'Davious White in Buffalo, but Levi Wallace was a really good compliment to him. And when everyone is saying that this was a good acquisition that we made in Levi Wallace in the offseason, I think that he's going to really benefit this corner in the secondary as well. He's a great playmaker. He's athletic. He can cause turnovers. He learned a lot from Tre'Davious White. I think Levi Wallace is going to be really good. I think I would honestly put him opposite of Ahkello Witherspoon, man, and Cam Sutton. I think Levi Wallace is pretty good. You give him the job right away. But then you got Arthur Millette, kind of the weak link of this corner. I expect him to just be depth. And then you got James Pierre, again, depth. I'm not a big fan of James Pierre, especially in that second Bengals game where he got roasted all day long, especially by T. Higgins. But, yeah, overall, we do have a couple really good corners, but the final two being depth pieces, I just expect more out of. And then we'll go to the safeties. We got Trey Norwood, DeMonte Kazee, Miles Killebrew, Terrell Edmonds, and, of course, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Trey Norwood, I think that he really needs to prove his worthiness as well. And then you got DeMonte Kazee. Didn't really get a chance to see a whole lot of him, so I'll just play it by ear. Miles Killebrew, I think that he's really just going to be used for special teams like he usually is for us. And then Terrell Edmonds. Cannot stress it enough. I just don't like this guy. I know that he can get interceptions here and there, but he just needs to be consistent with it. I think, I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. I think we reached on him in the first round in 2018, and that's just not what we need. Terrell Edmonds, I was just never a fan of him. And then, of course, Minkah, the highest paid safety in NFL history, and for good reason. I think, he kind of had a little bit of an underwhelming year last year, but I think it's more so because quarterbacks know the kind of safety that he is, and he can always make a good play and a good read on a ball. But, yeah, I do expect Minkah to have a little bit of a bounce-back year, but I'm not entirely disappointed with how he played. But Minkah is a great player, great safety, and I expect him to really play like he earned that extension. So, overall, this pass defense looks solid on paper, but it's up to them to play as advertised. Then with special teams, Presley Harvin is going to be our punter this year. Chris Boswell, of course, will be our kicker. And then Christian Kuntz. And like I said, I believe with also special teams, you throw in Derek Watt and Gunnar Olszewski as well. And overall, I like the special teams. But yeah, that's your 53-man roster for the 2022 Pittsburgh Steelers. Overall, this is a good looking bunch of players right here, and I expect them to go out there, give everything they have, and just live up to that reputation that they have, that this is just a hard-working team, half competing, half rebuilding, whatever you want to call it. But this is a good young roster. This is a roster that features a mix of, young players and rookies that need to step up, or maybe not step up, that are fighting for spots and looking to prove that they belong with the black and gold. And you got some veterans on the team as well. So I think this is a pretty evenly divided team right here. And I think that they're going to go out and compete. I really do. I really like that this team is going to fight. I can't call this team a Super Bowl contender, but, if they play all their cards right and everything goes right for this team this year, I can expect us to go back to the playoffs. But yeah, that'll do it. That's your 53-man roster. Tomlin, Flores, Austin, Canada. The ball's in your guys' court now. Make it happen. Still Sermon. Check it on out for the night. May God be with you all. Let's go Steelers, baby.